We actually have Ancient Warriors today. We have some more candy treats, and that is a Rescue Ace Tier Elements deck. What in the world? Alright, to the 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so we can climb up the 100,000 ladder here. Now, there's going to be a lot to unpack in this video, and I hope that you are genuinely excited. So this is an Ancient Warrior Sword Soul deck. I haven't seen a lot of people picking up Ancient Warriors in quite some time. I actually almost would have considered this deck to be kind of lost in the chasm of time because so many people just kind of have disregarded it up until this stage. But it is kind of nice to, you know, kind of get a nice little fresh of air here as we kind of see that players are looking to other ideas right now to test around and actually work. So very, very nice to see Ancient Warriors getting some love here. So good stuff for that. So we have one copy of the Ambitious Cowdy. We have one copy of the Fearsome Zhang Yun. We have two copies of the Ingenious Zhuang Kong. We have triple copies of the Loyal Guan Yun. Triple copies of Masterful Sun Mao. Two copies of the Rebellious Lu Fang. Two copies of the Savage Dan Ying. One copy of the Valiant Zhang Di. And then triple copies of the Virtuous Lu Zuan. Then we have triple Incredible Ecclesia. Triple copies of Mao Yi. One Tai. Triple copies of Long Yun. And then we have triple copies of Deception and Betrayal. One copy of the Easy by Southwinds. Triple copies of the Three Visits. Triple copies of Tenki. And triple copies of Sword Soul Emergence. Down the extra, you have one Soldier of Chaos. You have triple double Dragon Lords. One Time Thief Reader with one Dugaris. One Tiger King with one Abyss Dweller. We have one Yazi. One Shengying. One Qingxing Long Yun. Two Chizao. One Boxia. One Baron, wrapping up your extra deck. And you have triple Lava Golem, triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple Dimensional Fissure, two Anti-Scam, two Evenly, and two copies of Summon Limit here, wrapping up a very particularly interesting combination of things. Good stuff. Alright, next up here is Madolche Treats. My friend Golden actually did very well at locals with this. Said, well, I mean, he loves Madolche. Every time that there's some sort of success in the community with Madolche, he's so excited to see what ideas that players are coming up to see what the deck can do. And that's what you want to see when players have that much dedication and love for a deck. It really shows. So this is some interesting little candy treats. So we have one Jerusalem with triple Magna Hut. We have two Effect Veiler with one Herald of Orange Light, triple copies of Fenrir, triple copies of Angeli, two copies of Hoot Hoot Don't Pollute, one Magdalene, two Messengelato with triple copies of the Pudding Susior. We have one Pudding Cess with a one Vernal Sif of the Awakening Forest. We have triple copies of Flourishing Hills, triple copies of the Misting Seedlings, and we have two copies of the Thawing Mountains. And then we have one Called by the Grave, one Arby's Feather Duster with one Chateau. We have one Salon with one ticket, and then we have one copy of the Best Trap Hole, triple copies of Imperm, and two copies of Promenade. Down the extra, you have one Tri-Heart, one Fresh to Start, one Unicorn with one IP, one Access Code, one Rafflesia with one Baguski, two copies of Glass Fillet, two Tiramisu, two Shock Mode, one Zeus, and one Abyss Dweller. Then we have two Lancia, two Droll, one copy of Butleresque, triple Space Rock, triple copies of Dark Ruler, two Lightning Storm, one Necro Valley, and one Zombie World here, wrapping up your Madolche deck. It is definitely very interesting to see how this deck is being forced to like evolve, and just the interesting choices that you have to make as a player for candy treats at the moment. So very, very nice to see the levels of innovation and so forth present here. Next up here we have, I kid you not, we are playing like 5 Rescue Ace cards in this deck. And okay, so Rescue Ace Fire Attacker. If a Rescue Ace monster is normal special summon except for a Fire Attacker, special summon this card from your hand. If a card or cards is added to your opponent's hand except by drawing it, you can draw 2 and then discard 1. I guess this is just meant so that you can discard a tier during your opponent's turn, which is kind of hilarious. Don't get me wrong on that. And we have the triple impulse. During the main phase, you can choose one effect monster opponent controls with the highest attack, and neither player can activate that monster's effects on the field this turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, contribute this card from your hand or face up on the field. Special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your deck. as long as they do something, you just go into this, and then you can trigger discard send a tier to do a fusion summon. This is some of the most gimmicky stuff I've ever seen, but it's hilarious. So we have triple copies of Agito. We have one Drosworm with one Magna Hut, one Saronir with one Herald, triple copies of Kelbeck with triple copies of Keldo, triple copies of Mudora, and then we have two Fire Attacker, triple Impulse, triple Havnus with triple Merly, two Reno Heart, and triple copies of Shayren. Then we have one Instant Fusion, triple Paralenio, two Scream, one Terraforming, two Talents, and two Solic. Down in the extra, you get the one Sprint, one Elf with one Hark, one Willow with one Time the Freedoer, one Baguski, one Zeus, one Beatrice with one Abyssdolar. We have one Rukalos, one Kit Galos, one Kaleido Heart, one Dragostapili, one Mudmud, and one Garuda. We have one Drosworm, one Saronir with one Banshee, one Scattershot with triple Dark Roller, one Heartbeat, two Twin Twisters, one Zombie World, triple Imperm, and one copy of Crime. Wrapping up probably one of the most tolerable tier decks that I have seen in quite some time. And I think that's actually really cool at the end of the day. Levels of innovation you can see here. Next up here is Dark World with the Nekomane King shenanigans. You know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You do not see a lot of Dark World players experimenting out here. I feel like a lot of these ratios kind of get locked in as standardized, and you kind of start to question things a little bit. You're like, you know, is this like the ratio that's going to work? I will say that seeing Phantom Skyblaster in this deck was definitely a very, very nice change. It definitely opens up some pretty cool doors. So we have two copies of Brow, we have one copy of Ceruli, two copies of Bigfoot, one Chupacabra, triple copies of Nessie with one Ogopogo, we have one Thunderbird with one Jackalope, one Tsuchinoko, we have triple copies of Genta, two copies of Grapha, triple copies of Fenrir, we also have one copy Nekomane King, one Parl, one Skyblaster with two Skittles, we have two Sylvas, we have triple Snow, two copies of the Salamander Catalyzer, because this card's still busted, two Dark World Ascension, your one Archives, triple copies of the Gates of the Dark World, and we're actually main decking Brainwashing. Okay. Down the extra, you have the one Underworld Goddess, one Saruja, one News Reporter with one Linkuriboh, one Nightmare Unicorn, one Nightmare Phoenix, one Nightmare Griffin, one IP, one Appaloosa, one Dugaris, one Baguski, one Giant Trainer, one Abyssdolar, and two copies of Grapha, Dragon Overlord. You got one Banshee, triple Dark World No More, one Puppetry, triple Raigeki, triple Twin Twisters, one Zombie World, and triple copies of good old Skill Drain here. Wrapping up another interesting take for what's kind of going on right now with some Dark World innovations. And like I said, I think that this is actually pretty interesting to see, like, the different ideas that players are bringing to the table for Dark World here. And the last as we have is going second Sky Strikers with actual Fusion Destinies in here. We're only playing two linkage. That's a little bit strange to me. And then you see, like, you're going to pressure your opponent with this. You don't tend to see a lot of the Fusion Destiny shenanigans sticking around. I'm also, we opted for this instead of, like, Celestial. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. So we have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joy Spring, one Denier with one Plasma, triple Effect Veiler with triple copies of Ray, and one Rose. We have one Called by the Grave, one Change of Heart, triple Fusion Destiny, triple Lightning Storm with one Rhoda. We have two Area Zero with two Afterburners, one Jamming Waves with one Eagle Booster, one Hornet Drones, two Shark Cannon with triple Widow Anchor, one Multi-Roll with one Hercules Base, one Engage, two Linkage, one Terraforming, and one Upstart Roblin. Down there, check, you get two Zeeks. That in itself is very interesting. Okay, we have triple copies of Shizuku, one Kaina with two Kagari, triple copies of Hayate, one Utopia the Lightning, and one Utopia, with one Gaga Cowboy and one DP. Then we have triple copies of Gamma Seal, triple copies of Moonlit Chill, triple Dimensional Barrier, triple copies of Ice Dragon's Prison, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One here. Wrapping up a very, very interesting take on the metagame so far. So what do you think about these very particularly interesting decks? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'm really looking forward to seeing what more will come down here for these cool decks. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.